Gen Con 2018.
Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
All right, welcome to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
If you haven't subscribed, click the button and subscribe, and we'll bring you videos about board games and conventions
Exactly.
about board games.
And reviews.
So today we're talking about Gen Con 2018. We were so excited to be able to get to go to that this year.
Awesome.
And so we are bringing you some Gen Con coverage. So I've got some vlog videos that are coming out, some interview style videos that we did, but this video is talking about
Gen Con directly.
just all things Gen Con.
That's right. Most of it's positive. There is a little bit of stuff that we can see for improvement, but all in all, we loved it.
It was a great event. You know, we've been to Gen Con, I don't know how many times now, for how many years.
Right.
We've been going year after year after year, and this was another great event.
It was fantastic. I mean, Indianapolis could not do it better.
They can't.
And I hand it to Indianapolis just because that city, every place you go, you know that they're having
love it.
a Gen Con event. It's awesome. It is.
They got banners, billboards, every shop that you go to. It's even in the airport. It says, thanks for coming to Gen Con.
People are friendly. It's just, I mean, that whole atmosphere there is positive. It's fantastic. And I've been to a lot of different conventions. And most of them have been bigger cities like Chicago and then San Francisco. They don't even care about you. But here in Indianapolis, they love us. They take care of us. It's awesome.
And they should, because we saw in the press release that the mayor says that Gen Con creates about $70 million for the city of Indy
Tons.
within
Money.
4 days. Now, keep that in perspective. The Super Bowl brought in like 12, I think.
Wow.
So this is a huge event.
Very, very huge event. And we were part of it.
We were part of it. Yeah, it was awesome. So high points. What did you think was great about this year's Gen Con?
The one thing that they've just improved year after year is access to the areas. So the main event, obviously, is to get out there and see all those new games coming out and everything. And a couple years ago, so I think it's been 2 years since I've been. It seemed like we were just butting up against everybody and everything. They expanded it out now. And it seems like, quite honestly, it seems like back maybe 8 years ago where it's more freedom to move around. You don't feel like getting crushed by people.
Right.
They've done such a good job with using Lucas Oil Stadium. Fantastic. With opening up all the halls and everything. Using the motels and hotels around the area. It's fantastic. Motels, like really.
Motels, hotels, Holiday Inn.
Exactly.
But yeah, I totally agree. Like they said that there was over 60,000 unique attendees, whatever that means. They don't ever tell you exactly, I guess. But there's 60,000 unique attendees that were there, and yet it didn't feel that bad.
No, not bad at all. I mean, we were there Friday night to about midnight, and it was still busy down all the hallways. It was so much fun. But the thing is, you're right. It was never like in one certain area, it felt like you're just getting too much. You know, you needed to step out.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of people there, and probably the places you feel it the most are waiting for food, trying to use the bathroom, parking. Like, those are the places that you'll feel 60,000 people. And if you're there right at 10 a.m. when they open up the exhibit hall. So if you're an anti-crowd person, like, you probably shouldn't go to Gen Con anyways. But some things to help you is to don't show up right at 10 o'clock. Let everybody do their crazy push-in, walking. And then after that, then it's pretty okay.
That's awesome. So what about yourself?
High point for me was that it really is, it's this Super Bowl feeling. We talked about it so many times, and Gen Con feels like the Super Bowl. It feels like Super Bowl for board games, you know, like it just, everybody is there. Every company, every booth, every person that you want to see when it comes to personalities and YouTubers and designers, and I mean, they're just all there. And so if you want to bump into somebody or see somebody, this is going to be the con where you're going to do it. And they release so many good games at this con. It's like these publishers live for this convention, and so if you're looking for something, it's there. And it was there again this year. It was just a lot of huge games came out, a lot of big stuff. It was awesome.
I mean, the amount of games that came out this year were just phenomenal. I mean, it was hard for us to get to because we're actually like working while we're there. But there were just a million games. Every type of game you want to see was available to you. It's incredible. I just I'm still overwhelmed by each year.
It really is phenomenal just how it gets better and better every single year. And the other thing is not just about board games. We did a number of interviews. You'll see it in our 5-question video that we do. But so many people said that it's not just about board games. It's about RPGs and about war games. It's about cosplay. It's about all this stuff that's not just about the board game hobby. And so if you want it, it's probably going to be at Gen Con.
I mean, you think we walked into the Pathfinder RPG hall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like walking into this cathedral. Oh, it was fantastic. All these banners hanging off the wall. Hundreds, it seemed like it was just hundreds of people. I don't know how many people were in there, but it was just tons of tables full of people playing RPG game, Pathfinder. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was pretty cool. So what about improvements? Where do we, if the people of Gen Con are listening to our humble channel, what would we have
care?
what would they have to say to us?
So I think personally for me, the one thing there, and being a big guy and all, is I like to find a place to sit for a few minutes. And there is don't get me wrong, there is places to sit. You can find places and stuff. But for me, I think one of the things they should do is that long hallway that leads to Lucas Oil Field. Mm-hmm. They should have just have a long row of benches right down there. That should be for people just to kick back and play some of their games while they're resting a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be beneficial actually for everybody because it gets pretty exhausting there.
I saw 4 or 5 people throughout the convention, just like you saw them, like laying on the ground, like they got Gen Con got you, man. Like you weren't ready for this.
I'm never ready for it. Feet are killing me.
Yeah, it can be brutal. You're exactly right.
But I would just say some type of seating. There's a few spots, and during the nights when it starts to slow down, you can find those spots, and it's great. But when it comes to at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, forget it. You're not going to find a spot.
You're not. For me, I actually took a video of this. I stood at one of the signs. They had these TVs out in front of the exhibit halls that scrolled announcements and stuff. And one of the signs said 17,000 events. Like, that is amazing.
Right.
Like, I don't even know how you could, 17,000 events. Like, I just can't get my mind wrapped around that number. Like, that is absolutely amazing. And what's kind of crazy about it is I've been going to Gen Con for a long time, and I still really only know about a few events that happen.
Exactly.
And there's 17,000. And I don't know how you can do a better job of getting the word out. I don't know. And I'm not saying it's even Gen Con's responsibility, but there is so much that happens in that place that is outside the exhibitor hall. But I feel like as I flip through the Excel spreadsheet, it's so difficult to find what's going on and be exposed to new stuff. And I don't know. I just wish that there would be somebody creative enough to figure out ways to put your eyes on some cool things that you could do other than wandering in the hall for 4 days.
No, you're right. I mean, because and I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can walk those halls for a week and I would still be excited.
I would too.
But the thing is that there are so many events that we haven't got involved with. I mean, this is probably my 6th time being there, and I still have done basically the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I go there, and the first day I call it kind of the zombie walk because we're just hitting every time doing this all throughout the place.
Do the same thing. Yeah.
Exactly, but I've signed up before for events and stuff, but it seems like something occurred or time schedules and everything. It becomes difficult. It is hard to meet to those events, but it's hard to figure out what's going on. You're right about that.
Yeah, and I've heard from a number of people that ran events that were doing events in Lucas Oil, and they had a ton of no-shows. And it was, I don't know if it's because people just couldn't get over there to find it or what, but there's a disconnect. And it's just so huge. I mean, how do you do it with 60,000 people? I'm definitely not complaining because they do a phenomenal job, but just some kind of way to try to get that 17,000 event down to the new guy,
right,
or the guy that doesn't know anything about it. Creativity. There's got to be some.
You guys all have it. I don't, but...
Okay, there were a ton of great games that came out at Gen Con, and we wanted to talk about a couple that caught our attention. So, CMON had a number of games, which is surprising to me that I'm even highlighting CMON because I'm not a huge miniatures guy. But they had a new game, Newton, that came out that sold out. I only think they had 100 copies of it. That was huge. The Victorian Mastermind was a huge game, but one of them that kind of surprised me was this little game called Gizmos. And it's like a deck build. It's not a deck building. It is an engine building game where you buy a card that does this, and then you can get another card. So then you trigger things that happen in the game. So I do this, which lets me do this, this, and this. And it just feels like a really cool game. And I think the game ends when you have like 12 or 16 of these cards. You built these little gizmos, and so it's just really cool. It looks kind of like Potion Explosion. It's got these marbles and all kinds of stuff that looked really cool. And then the other one that kind of stood out to me is this game called Narcos. And so Rod was not a fan of this game at all, but I really enjoyed it. This is like a hidden movement game. Now, it's based off of this TV show that I've never seen, you know, and adult content and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know anything about the TV show, but the game was a hidden movement game where you're like this drug lord and you're trying to move these drugs around with these little cocaine cubes and stuff like that. So it's definitely a mature theme. And like I said, I don't know anything about the game or the movie, but the game was really cool to me because everybody had these different things that they were trying to do. And then there was this one guy that was the bad guy, but we got to play all these cops. I don't know. I really, really thought that it was great and neat. And it was a total twist to me on the hidden movement game. And so I really liked it.
So if you rethemed it, I would probably agree. But the theme was a little harsh, and I'm just not so sure I wanted to be playing that. For myself, Orbis. Right?
Uh-huh.
So that was a fun little game. I'm normally not a big fan of that type of game. You know, I want battle, you know. But anyway, that one was pretty neat.
No battle.
You set up a little bit of a pyramid setup, and it just seemed... to me, it was like Splendor, you know, Splendor-esque.
Yeah. Like a gamer's Splendor.
Yeah, exactly. It added a little more to it, and it was a nice little change. And you know, a lot of it, sometimes when you game, sometimes it's who you're with and that type of thing, too. That may have been part of it. But if you get a chance, that's one of the games I would get and try and play. The other one I did not get to play, and I'm still upset about it, but is the Song of Fire and Ice. That one looked pretty darn neat. You know, you're moving your armies around. You get the trays of men and so on. You're going to battle, and the fantasy theme, which all fits into what I like. But just, you know, it's so busy, and it's hard to get its table. We tried it a few times, but it was too difficult to get in there. But that's one I definitely want to get to play.
Now, there's a couple other that stand out. Nyctophobia by Pandasaurus Games is this hit. It's like, you got to go and look and check it out. And it was designed for someone that was blind, and it's this really cool mechanism. Everdell sold out, which was a huge hit at the con. Tidal Blades by Druid City Games. Finally got to see that. Looks incredible. Probably my most hyped game that I've been with Druid City Games. This one's just going to be awesome. And it looks great.
Was it Villainous? Is how you pronounce it?
Yep, the Disney game.
Yeah, it looked to me, it was very popular. Everyone was buying it. It looked pretty good. So that's another one that you have to get out there and try.
Yeah, so a Disney game that actually works. Like, everybody's saying a lot of good things about it. So
yeah, I mean that was awesome. I mean, we saw some great stuff there. And there were a couple games that I was kind of surprised that D&D one was the
Vault of Dragons.
Yeah, that seemed to me that just kind of was kind of stale. It reminded me a little bit of what's the other one that we have that not
Lords of Waterdeep.
He's finished my sentences, but it's so true. It's like that, but a little bit more to it, a little bit more of the battle system brought to it. But you know what? For me, it just didn't click when I was playing it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else stood out to me that was good. The Mind was there with Illusion, a couple more Pandasaurus games that were pretty good. Man, there was something else I was just thinking of, and I can't think of it now.
I got to see some software for version 2 of Pathfinder that looked incredible. So for you Pathfinder fans, that looks like that's going to be hot, and that's coming out next year, I guess, with the version 2. It's a software, and it looks like it encompasses everything. So you can't go wrong. Something that D&D is failed to do or being able to do correctly. It looks like they've got it under control with Pathfinder.
There was X-Wing 2.0. They had kits for that. They had the new Mini.
Yeah. Well, that's for the Armada, right?
Armada Mini. That was like
Super Star Destroyer or whatever.
It was huge.
It was humongous.
$200.
$200. I can't go into Rod rant right now about that.
Maybe later.
$200. Wow.
Simon had the Cthulhu statue.
Oh, incredible.
Small baby size. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a small child.
But that was incredible. I mean, there was just some great stuff, wasn't there?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. The River that's coming out with Days of Wonder. It's their new title this year. It's a simple worker placement game with placement tiles. The production on it looks incredible. Simpler than what I was hoping, but it looks really, really good.
Catalyst seems to be having their thing under control with BattleTech, with some of their stuff there. They were handing out free maps and stuff, which I thought was just great.
Yeah.
They had some 160 scale that wasn't for sale or anything, but that they were playing BattleTech with younger kids and stuff on the big giant map. That looked pretty cool. I wanted to play.
Renegade Games has a Kickstarter out right now for Power Rangers, and they had the minis there for that. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Painted up, looks incredible. So if you're interested in that Kickstarter's going on right now. You have to drop a few bucks to get that all in, but it did look amazing. So if you're interested, Gen Con 2019, we highly recommend it. Put it on your calendar. You can go ahead and set up vacation days to get off and go.
Start now.
It's well worth it, right?
Definitely worth it. Go, go, go.
All right, we'll see you next time on the Board Game Closet.
Later.